Hello, welcome back to the channel. So I've seen a lot of people say that, the new characters are too strong, or they're like overpowered or way too good. While I can understand the sentiment because the new characters are definitely very good, I do just think that the overall kit design has just gotten a lot better over time. And that is the main reason why the new characters are stronger, is just because they just have better designed kits. The biggest example you can see this is in the traces. Basically every new character has traces that actually make sense for their kit and synergize with them, or in some cases like Cypher being basically required for the kit to even work at all. One example that I use a lot is My Day's A4 because it is a defensive passive that actually makes sense for the character. He acts on his own and wants to basically just attack non-stop all the time. Not every trace needs to just make the character do more damage, but it should at least actually help the character do their job, which a lot of the old traces don't really do. I mean, half the reason that Arlen is so bad is because all of his traces are just useless. They just don't help him do anything at all. The newer characters' kits just flow together a lot better than a lot of the older ones do, and I have seen some people say that they just don't have weaknesses, which I don't really agree with. I mean, Casterus takes your other character's health and needs a healer on the team, which kind of makes you really susceptible to one-shots. Goliath and Phyton are really reliant on their ultimates to actually do damage. Archer has no AoE at all, which he does kind of make up for just really good single target damage. But they do have weaknesses. Now, do these weaknesses matter most of the time? I mean, not really. You can get around them fairly easily, but I mean, even someone like Tribby is kind of more of just a general support, but doesn't fill niches as well as someone like Sunday can. One other thing that I have seen people say is that the newer characters need their signatures to actually be good, which I just do not agree with at all. Doesn't make them better? Yeah, definitely. But they can still work fine without them. I saw this the most when Cypher came out, and you can use Resolution on her and it'll still work just fine to clear most content. Maybe if you're trying to zero cycle or something, but I'll be honest, I hate the zero cycling standard because it does not matter at all. All that matters is, can you get max stars on the content? And if you can, then that's it. That's all that matters. But on top of that, I do think the thing that makes the newer characters just more interesting in general is that they have a lot more varied kits. One problem that at least I had with a lot of the 2.x characters is that they felt very similar to one another, because it was either just break or follow up for most of the characters, besides maybe Acheron and Black Swan. I think that was kind of it. and Sparkle as well. Whereas 3.x has felt a lot more varied, with having niches, but not just feeling they're all just the same, but just slightly different. Now, I know a lot of people don't really like Remembrance because it doesn't really feel cohesive, but at least to me, it does still kind of feel like its own thing because of how memo sprites work, and I do think they are different enough from how summons were before. And I think that if they were all similar to each other, then you would have the opposite problem of it getting just oversaturated really fast and just getting boring after a while, kind of like what happened to Break. So, I do actually kind of like that they aren't all the same because it makes them actually feel distinct from one another. Though I can understand the sentiment because Remembrance doesn't really have as strong of an identity as some of the other paths do, like Destruction or something. But besides just Remembrance, we have just been getting a lot more just interesting kit design, I feel, in 3.0. I mean, we just got Phyton, who can, fight by himself, and is, the only character that has 3 abilities. My Day is a character that you can't control. I know some people don't really like that, but I do think it does at least make him a bit more interesting. Anaxa can, implant a ton of weaknesses, and is basically just the weakness implant character. Cypher has the whole, coin mechanic. Aren't the designs of the characters, perfect? No. I mean, Goliath really should have had something like her E1 in her base kit, since right now she is very reliant on Sunday to get her ultimate consistently. And I do think, in general, there is still the problem of characters not really having many budget options, since all the good options are basically just 5 stars. The only real budget options you have right now are Gallagher and Remembrance MC. And don't get me wrong, Remembrance MC is really good. It's one of the best options for a lot of characters like casters. But for a lot of other teams, teams that need energy or something, the difference between Ting Yun and Sunday is huge. And without some of those core supports, teams just feel way worse. This is why I think we should be buffing characters rather than nerfing them, since I have seen some people say, especially in the comments, that we should nerf the newer characters to bring down the power ceiling. But I feel like nerfing characters once they are released is just taking away some of the fun from the game, since let's be honest. Playing strong characters is just fun, and I don't even think Hoyo would be allowed to do that since they're already out. And they can't, like, take away a product that they've sold to people, or, since people could have spent money on it. This is also why I think they gave the option to toggle the buffs for characters, since they can't, like, completely just get rid of something that they've already given to people, I think that they could lower the power ceiling by just not increasing the HP, and just keep the numbers around where they already are, and just not making them more. I mean, that's probably going to happen anyway, but still. I don't know, I just don't think nerfs would be a good idea. And, I just think that buffs are just a better and more realistic option, and what they're probably going to do to, at least try and fix a lot of the 1.8 characters' kits, since those are the ones who mainly need buffs. Because some of them just make no sense. Why would you make a sustain whose whole kit is designed around dying? That just is fundamentally makes no sense at all. Like, this is also why the 2.S characters, I feel, have held up a lot better, since the devs actually started to, know how to design kits better. Are they, as good as the new characters? No, but they are still good. At the end of the day, I understand the sentiment of the new characters feeling too strong, because they're almost always, the best options for characters. However, I think that is mainly because they just, have better designed kits. And from just, a design and just marketing standpoint, you want your new character to be good. Because, at least in my opinion, if the new character is bad, that is way worse. Because, one, it just loses a lot of hype, and also, loses the company a lot of money. But also, it just makes people way less excited for the patch, and it's just really bad for the overall health of the game, because you're getting this new thing, and if the new thing sucks, people just aren't going to be excited. And you could say that if you make the story good, then people will pull for them anyway, which, yeah, might help a bit, but I feel like no matter how good their story is, gameplay is still really important in the game, and if the characters suck, your average player just isn't going to pull for them, no matter how good their story is. So I do think that the new characters being strong is good for the game, as long as they do more buffs and create more budget options. The problem is that they're only doing the first thing, and not doing the other two. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.